is. So she wanted me to do the conclusion paragraph today. And the conclusion, it's not that hard once you have your main body paragraph and you kind of know what you're talking about. So, yeah, here. Alright, so yes, it's definitely the foolproof way to write a conclusion. Results guaranteed only if hard work is applied. So a conclusion is made up of 3 parts. You have the restatement of your thesis, as well as a restatement of your 3 main points, and, if it'll work, the mic drop, which leaves your readers thinking and curious to find out more. You really want to leave them with a nice, lasting impression of your essay, where they kind of go away and they're like, wow, that was really good, and I think I want to delve more into this topic. Now, there's a reason why we're restating your thesis and your main points. Sometimes, particularly if you're writing a much longer paper, like once you get into high school or college, your readers may have forgotten your exact thesis by the time they get to the end, and because they've already been delving into everything in detail. So it's always nice to bring it back into focus, say, this is what I was trying to achieve, here were the 3 main points that I used to argue my point, and I'm going to leave you with, it's like a nice little parting present to say thank you for reading my essay, and I hope you explore more on your own. Alright, everybody look up here when you're finished writing. And really the parts that are most important are the ones in yellow. But I mean, definitely get that you have to restate your thesis. Alright, is it safe to move on? Okay. Now, it's definitely okay to keep the same keywords, because I mean, sometimes when you're arguing using such technical language, you're going to sound like you're repeating yourself all over again, but at the same time, you're just rephrasing it a little differently. And my example picture is, you know, I like Pokemon, so of course Nidoran male, Nidoran female, they're different, but they're also extremely similar. So that's what your original thesis and your statement of your thesis should look like. So I came up with one about one of my favorite things. Although regarded as a myth, living dinosaurs are a very real possibility due to the existence of unexplored territory, compelling physical evidence, and the enduring legend of dragons. The pictures I have up are of Champ, the Nessie of Lake Champlain, Vermont. I think that's one of the more convincing pieces of evidence about living dinosaurs. And this is my restatement. This also includes a restatement of my 3 points. Now, I have been to college, so what I have up here is not a verbatim following of the formula that Mrs. Ernest has given you, or of the formula that I will give you. But I want you to see if you can find my thesis in there, as well as my 3 main points. So it seems that humanity is always searching for something greater than itself. See how I'm kind of harking to a big idea here? The unforgiving jungles offer scarce evidence, but through the continued witness of locals and science, so there's the physical evidence. The stories of the ancients find new life, that's the legends of dragons. Therefore, let us be watchful, lest we fall into the footprints of dragons and find ourselves trapped in a myth of our own making. See, I'm making it literally dramatic. But that's what you want. You want to leave your readers thinking. And yeah, we have to have a transition, because they'll keep reading and going, all right, we need to wrap this up, we need to wrap this up. So your first sentence, it's okay for this level to start off with in conclusion or to conclude. Then have your restated claim and your restated counterclaim. That's a good opening sentence. So we're sticking to the argumentative persuasive formula that Ms. Ernest introduced to you. And it really should just be simple. Go on and definitely write down the parts in yellow.
Why do you think it's important to actually conclude an essay? Like, why not just leave it at the end of the body paragraphs?
Anyone want to venture an answer? Yes.
Maybe because you have to wrap up your whole story, that way the readers know that the story is coming to an end.
Right. Any good story has an end, right? Otherwise you're angrily shaking the book and saying, curse you, author, why are you doing this to me?
What about a TV show? What if your TV show just ends, or your movie just ends?
Anybody like
That's
Firefly?
insane, we're not funny.
Any painful people who like Firefly? Nope. Okay. Those are
I've
some
heard
bitter
too.
fans right there. But yeah, that's why, I mean, even for an essay probably is not going to be nearly as exciting as a comic or a TV show or a movie or anything that y'all love, but we still have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Because that's how our brains work. We need it to be in a logical sequence of events, so it's only logical to wrap everything up and because it helps your reader think more clearly about it. Because you want to walk them through the steps of your argument. Okay. I forgot about that part. Yeah, keep going, write this down. Okay. And here's the mic drop where you need to leave them thinking. Don't just say, what do you think? Because we know that's very common. But that doesn't really, you want to lead your reader into thinking about it. You're not treating them like they're dumb, but you're kind of grabbing their hand and walking them along. And then you walk them to the door, you show them the door, and then you shove it out and close the door. So that's how you end your conclusion. So, easy ways to do that. If you started with a story in your introduction, continue the story. If you started with a quote, use another one that's similar, maybe by the same author or at least one that's along the same vein. If you use a statistic, just use another one. And definitely about this last one right here. If you're talking about a present problem, speculate about the future. You're not really introducing a new idea. You're just pushing that idea forward because you've been arguing about that idea this whole time, and now you're saying this is what we have to look forward to. And they should be parallel. The intro and the conclusion should definitely parallel each other. Because what you're looking for is a nice Krabby Patty. You want to have the bun and the conclusion, and if they're not solid, they're not going to hold all the meat inside.
What happens if you don't have a bottom bun?
Your whole thing.
Why does it not meat?
Exactly. So that's why the buns may be a little boring, but they are very, very important. Now, here is an example of a good conclusion for the middle school level. Y'all don't have to write these down. If you do want good examples, though, this is good. So, I found these online. Should we test products on animals? I agree that we need to make sure that animals who are used for testing new products have the minimum of suffering. However, I am convinced that animal testing is necessary and that it will continue to benefit humans in new and wonderful ways. See how they pushed it forward to the future there? It's really simple, really direct. That's a good conclusion. Should parents spank children? In conclusion, they started off with that. It's a signal to their reader. Physical punishment can be a useful method of discipline, so there's their thesis. However, it should be the last choice for parents. If we want to build a world with less violence, we must begin at home, and we must teach our children to be responsible. So it's sort of an all-around idea for something that we should be doing in the future. We're pushing your idea forward. Now, here are some high school level ones. Now, we've already been talking about the Hunger Games a lot, so analyze the theme of compassion for one character in the Hunger Games series. The obvious choices for compassion in the Hunger Games may have been Katniss or Peeta, but the character who personified compassion best is Prim. Who is Prim again? Y'all remember?
Katniss.
Good. Alright, throughout the series, her compassion can be seen when she keeps secrets from her mother, Katniss, when she heals Gale. As the last act of her life, she rushes to save children. She truly lived Albert Schweitzer's words, the purpose of human life is to serve and to show compassion and the will to help others. So they even ended it with a quote. That's really solid because they're bringing in someone else's words that have a lot of weight to back up what they're saying. So, restating their thesis, restating their 3 points, which, I mean, we've got, let's see, keep secrets from her mother, heals Gale, and then last act of her life. Boom, boom, boom. You have everything in order. Same thing for analyze Facebook's influence on America's youth. Though social media allows young users to connect with people across the world and get instantaneous news about the world around them, that's a really long counterclaim. It also has come with many complications. That's really simple. That is their claim. It's super simple. from access to inaccurate information to the rise of cyberbullying. Now those are just 2 points, but maybe that's all they had in their paper. The bad can sometimes outweigh the good among younger users. And here's a statistic, with 73% of young Americans aged 12 to 17 using Facebook, it may be time to come up with better rules for promoting responsible use. That last one, it's pushing the thing forward, pushing the conclusion forward. It may be time now. Let's take some action. So no new ideas, but you're looking to the future. It may be a call to action. And let's see, last one, college level. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but this was what I wrote for one of my final papers in my Milton class. And I just wanted to break down a few things that I used in it. So, let's see. I try and keep readers' attention by stating that most people in England remember Cromwell, who basically took over the English government and tried to make everything his version of Christianity, a Puritan who was no fun. So, pretty basic, easy to think about. On the show Horrible Histories, here I'm using a pop culture reference, but as long as it's within your topic, that's fine. It's perfectly reasonable to use that. I'm saying on Horrible Histories, Cromwell is portrayed in this way, that everything is sinful, and that's funny, but it also makes my point. Let's see. And here I use a quote again, and I also have all of my sources here. So, of course, at college, you're going to have a minimum of tons of sources. Right now, what is the minimum for this essay again? How many sources?
We're just using the text. If you want to pull something else in from the internet, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm only requiring the one
Okay.
Tether heart.
But as you can see, sources, they can be a pain to cite. But goodness, they help your credibility a lot. So definitely be thinking about that for you guys. Yes, dear.
Don't in college you have to read like these big size books, like a whole bunch of them?
Yes, but the easiest way to go about it is to find the book that you need for your research and then find that specific topic within the book, so that way you're not going through the whole book. I mean, that's a good thing for even websites. Y'all know how to use the Finder on Google Chrome or Safari, right? Where you're looking for a certain word, use that. It is so helpful. It will speed up your search process 100%. So, and here are some very bad examples that I wrote. This is why I like pie. Pie is good, the end. I mean, yeah. Clearly it's bad.
That one's my favorite.
Because, I mean, yes, you're showing that it's the end, but you're giving literally no evidence. You're not restating anything. It's just there, voila. And of course, everyone else is wrong and I am right. That is not how you argue. This is how a 3-year-old argues. You're dumb if you don't agree with this essay. That's not pushing any ideas forward. That's just saying, I'm right, you're wrong. That's not going to help. Now, this one's more like what we've been seeing. The narrator is crazy because he killed the man and hurt the heart. Okay, so you're kind of giving me your thesis. He's going to go to jail and he won't be happy when he gets there. Okay, but you're not giving us enough. We need more solid references to your introduction, to your body paragraphs. We just need more. And last one, the narrator is not crazy because he knew what was going on and could tell a story. Okay, so you're giving us a few examples. He planned it and was sane. You're still not explaining. We need more than just plot reconstruction. We need you to say why. There's so what and so why, just like Ms. Ernest has been teaching you for the past year. And I would like y'all to make a sample conclusion. Let me go get the sticky notes. I know the sticky notes are small, but I want you just to give me a really rough, dry bones conclusion using the formula that I gave you. I'm seeing lots of good transitions. best of the best here. Now I noticed that some of you did just write this verbatim, because this is the introduction right here. We were looking for a restatement of this, and here are the best of the best. So, in conclusion, the human civilization would be better off on Mars than Earth, since it is starting to die anyway. So there's, keeping with the same vein. Let's see. Warm global warming wouldn't be a problem, because the problems would still be on Earth among the issues of famine. Who would have ever thought we could civilize another planet? It's, yes, a question, but you're still pushing forward. It's kind of an amazement you've got there. Although it would be difficult, we need to relocate to Mars because we can avoid famine, war, and global warming. Now, I think it would be best to mix up the order of the three main points, so that way, I mean, sometimes you can keep them, but it is difficult because those are such specific words, but just try and mix them up at least. So that way you're not sounding too much like you just took your intro and copy pasted to the bottom. Okay, it is too late to save Earth, but we can save its people. If we move to Mars, there will be less fighting, global issues, and famine on Mars. This way we can keep the human race going for many years after. This is our ultimate goal, right? Again, pushing forward. That's very good. Alright, although it is too late to save Earth from famine, global warming, and war, we should relocate to regain the life of humans and keep the cycle of life going. Future. Let's see. So even though going to Mars could be dangerous, I believe it is too late for Earth, and going to Mars could revolutionize the human race. With proper planning, we could avoid issues of famine, global warming, and war. Still a little too close, but at the same time, you got the right idea. Pushing forward. And in conclusion, we might have to go to Mars to get to safety. We need to plan, avoid certain issues, and think about global warming. Therefore, moving to Mars is probably the best. So it's wrapping up with a nice big bow. Let's see, did I have anything else? Nope. And now you get to work on your essay conclusions. Now that we've had this review, I don't know how much you've already gotten written on your essay, but you can at least maybe go for the conclusion today. So get out your computers or whatever you were using to work on your essay.